Right now, we are going to see how we can gather emails for a certain company or a domain. Remember, people are always weak at security. If we manage to send some malicious program to someone working in a company, and they run that program, we got our way in. We can also use emails in something like a brute force attack. We can use them in the username fields. There are many ways this could be useful, but for now, let us just see how we can get them. Since emails are public information, we can test this on any domain we want. To get emails, we're going to check out two different options. A tool called The Harvester that's installed in Kali Linux, and a website called hunter.io. Let's start with Harvester first. So open up your terminal, and to just run the help menu from the Harvester, we can type the tool name. So just type The Harvester with capital H and press enter. And this will output us with a smaller help menu, just like the WhatWeb tool did once we specified its name. We get its banner and some of the options that we can run. It tells us, since we try to run it with just the name of the program, that there is an error, the following arguments are required. So we need to specify the domain. But before we specify the domain, let us just run the bigger help menu so we can see all of our available options. Okay, great, here it is. So we get the domain option, so we need to specify either a company name or domain name to search. This is the limit of search results, which is default equal to 500. And all of these other options are not really of interest to us besides this last source option. And this last source option we specify with -b, and we specify where we want to search for emails. Now we can either specify one of these. We can, for example, specify we want to search for Twitter, LinkedIn, Bing, Google, or we can simply just specify all, and it will go through all of these in search for usernames, hosts, and emails. So let's try it out. If I clear the screen, type The Harvester, and first thing we need to specify is -d for the domain. And for this test, I will go with this domain right here, which is another university domain. You can go either with this one, or you can pick any website that you want and use it instead. So if I specify The Harvester -d, then the domain name, the next option that I want to specify is -b, and remember, -b option is the source, so where we want to search for the emails, host names, and usernames. And let us for the first try specify all. And the last option is -l, which is the limit that is set by default to be 500, so we can either specify more than that or less than that, or we can simply just not specify -l at all, and it will just by default scan 500 results. So if we leave it just like this, and I press here enter, the running of this command will take some time. It will search for different results, it will search for host names, it will search for usernames, and it will also search for emails. As we can see down here, it says searching 300 results, and this will go up to 500 since we are using the default -l option, which is 500 results. And it seems that we already got some users found. Here are some of the names, as well as what do they do. So this is already some result for us. Let's just wait for all of this to finish, and then we will go through all of the results that we managed to gather. Okay, so it has finished. Let us check out what we got as an output. So it searched through a bunch of different platforms, as we can see, LinkedIn, VirusTotal, Yahoo, Twitter, but it didn't manage to find any results for these platforms. The only thing we got is these users right here. But this is not what we looked for. We wanted to find some email addresses or perhaps some usernames. There is one thing with this Harvester tool. From my personal experience, this tool doesn't always work. There are days when it gives amazing result, but there are days when it doesn't find any emails or any hosts, just like it did in this case. As it says, failed to detect a valid IP address from this domain name. We also didn't get any emails. And I'm talking about scanning this same domain just on 2 different days. That's why it is always good to in case you don't get any results for this tool right now, to scan it multiple times. So if I scan it once again, and instead of -B all, I will select -B and scan only from Google to see if I get any different results. And if we still don't manage to get any results, just try the same command either later or tomorrow. And I guarantee you it will usually give you a different result. As we can see, we didn't manage to find anything with this tool. That's why we got a second option. And that second option is a website, hunter.io. So let's go and visit that website, open up your Firefox. And in the search bar up here, type hunter.io. It will automatically lead you to this website, and we can see right here, we got this search bar where we specify a company domain and we click on find email addresses. But on this website, you must first create an account. And you either have a free account or a paid account. Technically, you can even search without creating an account, but it will only show you first 5 results and they will be half blurred. Let me show you. If I go here and type the same domain name that we used for Harvester, and let me just enlarge this a little bit so you can see in greater detail, and I click on find email addresses, it will show me first 5 results and they will all be blurred. Now you can technically try to figure out what these email addresses are, but they will be blurred nonetheless. And down here it also tells you how much results it managed to gather. It managed to gather 315 more results besides these 5 emails, and those results will be available if you get a paid account. With free account, however, let me show you how free account looks like. If I go in sign in, and I sign into my account, for you just go and create an account right here and sign in into your free account. Once you create an account, you should be able to have about 50 searches per month with a free account, as it says right here. So we got 0 out of 50, and these monthly requests reset in about 1 month. And as I mentioned, even with free account, you also don't get all the results outputted, but at least the emails that it gives you are not blurred. Let's test it out. If I type the domain name that we used this entire video and click on search, right now I managed to get some of the results right here. So I get up to 10 results with its email addresses and with their names. So we got the name and we also got the email addresses. We get right here which pattern it used to find email addresses, and all of these email addresses are also split into different sections. So if I click on IT engineering, I will even get what type of work does this person do: project advisor, IT engineering, production engineering, technical editor, as well as their email addresses. We also get from which sources we managed to get these emails. And if I go to all right here and I remove this IT engineering, down here we will also get that there are 310 more results for this domain name. So it is completely up to you whether you think you should get paid version for this. Just keep in mind that with the paid version you get much more results than with the free version. The bad side about the paid version is that it isn't cheap at all. If I go to my account up here and I click on subscription, I can see down here which plan choices I have available to purchase. And you can see 1000 requests per month will be around 50 euros per month. So this is completely up to you, but nonetheless, what we did learn in this video is different ways to gather emails about a certain domain. And I encourage you to also later try out this Harvester tool once again, because it does know to give really good results once it works. And one more thing is that at the end of this section, I will give you a tool that is coded in Python 3 that will be able to gather even more emails from a specified domain. So it will be even better than these 2 options that I showed you right here, and it will be our own tool. I will give you its code and also show you how to run it and how it works. Okay, good. In the next video, we're going to see how we can install some additional tools that we might need for information gathering. See you there. Okay, so for now, we took a look at a couple of tools used for information gathering, but what happens if some of the tools stop working? Or if they get outdated? What are we going to do? We cannot depend on certain tools. If a tool breaks, we must find our way around to do the task either using other tool or by creating that tool ourselves. Well, luckily, there are a lot of tools available for us to download online. And we cannot cover all of them, but what is important to cover is how we can download them. So, in this video, we're going to be searching for an information gathering tool that we can download online and then run in Kali Linux. And the best place where we can find those to download is GitHub. Most of you, if you are either a developer or a programmer, are already familiar with GitHub, and for those of you who don't know what GitHub is world's largest community of developers that build and share their software. So let's see how we can download some additional tools from there. First of all, open up your Firefox, and when we download tools, we either know exactly which tools we want to download, so we search them by their name, or we have no idea what tools even exist. And this is the case where we don't even know what we want. We only know that we're looking for a tool used for information gathering. So let's just type that. In search bar, type information gathering tools GitHub. Up here, information gathering tools GitHub. Press enter. Okay, so let's just click and go with the first link. Information gathering tools. Make sure that it is from the GitHub page. And down here it will output us with a bunch of different tools that are used for information gathering. As we can see in the description, scan all possible TLDs for a given domain name, information gathering, website reconnaissance. This is a program to detect probability of admin page. And we got a bunch of different tools. If we go to some other links, we will also see some other tools available. So from the second link, we get the Sherlock, the Photon, F-Society, Pen Testing Bible. If I go all the way down, here is the Harvester. Remember this tool we used in the previous video. And by the way, if you didn't test out once again whether you managed to get some of the results with it, try it out right now. And down here, we will get Discover, which is also a known tool, Raccoon, Striker, Red Hawk, SandMap, and a bunch of others as well. And let's just go with any one of them. Let's just go with this one. Let us read the description. It says, all-in-one tool for information gathering, vulnerability scanning, and crawling. A must tool have for all penetration testers. Okay, so it seems interesting. Let us click on it. Click on Red Hawk. And here is the page of the tool. These are all of the files that the tool has. We can see them right here. Down here we got README. This is what we can perform with Red Hawk, so we can read what are our available options with it. And down here, released versions, changelog. Down here we also get how we can install it, how to configure it, and we get usage. Now, sometimes you will need to install some of the requirements that the tool needs in order to run. And you can almost always find the commands that you must run on this tool page. So, as we can see right here, we got the usage and installation, so all we need to do is follow both of them. And different tools might need different requirements, but this is something that you will get better at the more tools you install. However, to just download a tool from GitHub, you will always use the same command, and for this command what we need to do is we need to copy the link to this tool. So copy up here this link, right click, copy. Let us lower this page and open our terminal. And the command is git clone. And by the way, make sure that you're in the /desktop directory before you run this. Then type git clone space and then paste the link and press enter. And this is the command that we use to download a tool from GitHub. As we can see right here, it downloaded all of the files, and right now on our desktop we got the folder called Red Hawk, which is our tool. And also keep in mind that sometimes, once you're searching for a tool, you might need to download multiple different tools before you run into a good one. So let's test this RedHawk tool out. Let's see whether it is any good. To run it, well, we don't know how to run it, but we can go to the RedHawk directory and see what files we got right here. So we got some PHP configuration files, functions, PHP, these are all of the files that we really are not interested in at the moment. If there was, for example, a usage file, we would most likely want to read that, in case the tool is complicated. But for now, we got this redhawk.php file. And out of all of these files, this is the file that seems to be the tool. So how can we run this? Well, first we notice what type of file it is. It is a PHP file. So to run it, we must type PHP and then the file name. If it was, for example, a Python file, we would type Python and then the file name. So depending on which file type it is, we run it like this, so PHP, redhawk.php, and press enter. It will load this with its banner, and it tells us right here that some of the modules are missing, and it tells us that we can try fix command, or we can simply just install it ourselves using terminal. So let's see whether this tool will install it for us. If I type fix, checking if curl module is installed, curl module not installed, and installing curl operation requires sudo permission, so you might be asked for password. This asks us for sudo password, and let's input it. And it seems to be downloading the curl module for us automatically, and we don't need to run other commands. It is also installing the second thing that I'm missing, so let's just wait for this to finish. And it tells us right here, job finished successfully. Please restart RedHawk. So let's clear the screen and run once again PHP RedHawk, and right now we don't get any error messages right here. It only asks us which website we want to scan. So let's just go with Google, why not? Let's see what are the available options that we have. Enter 1 for HTTP or enter 2 for HTTPS, and since Google is HTTPS of course, we will select 2. And here are all of the available options that we can use with our RedHawk. Basic recon, site title, IP address, Cloudflare detection. So let's see just the basic recon of Google. If I type number 0, it should perform the basic recon. And here are some of the basic output for Google. So we got site title to be Google, IP address, web server, Cloudflare, and it seems to be stuck at Cloudflare. So let's just Control C it. It could be just a bug. And let's run it once again. Type google.com. Type 2 for HTTPS, and let's go once again with 0, just to see whether it will perform it correctly right now. And never mind, it seems to be stuck at Cloudflare once again, so let's just go with other options and test them out. Now this is what I'm talking about. Maybe if you don't like this tool, maybe you want to consider going and finding some other one, but for now we only tested one of the options, so let's go with other ones as well and see what else can we get. The whois lookup, let's go with that one. And we get the whois response for our Google. Good, so this option seems to work. It tells us scanning complete, press enter to continue, so let's continue and let's go with geo IP lookup. This should tell us the coordinates of the Google, and it does tell us the country, the IP address, the latitude and longitude, but city and state seems to be unavailable. Let's go with another option. We got grab banners, DNS lookup, subnet calculator, nmap port scan, and this option right here is something that we are not going to run right now, since this is something that we cover in the scanning section. The subdomain scanner is also something that we are not going to be doing right now. These options as well, so these are just some of the advanced options that we are going to cover later on, so we won't be running them at the moment. We can go with, for example, DNS lookup, to check out which DNS service it has, and here is the output. So this tool seems to be pretty good. It does give us some of the information for Google. Now of course there are other options that we didn't run and that I would advise you not to run, since some of them can be considered advanced scanning methods. But nonetheless we will be covering them in the next section. So for now on, what we did is we managed to find a random tool on GitHub install it and get it to work. We also tested it out, and it did give us some of the information. Now, what I want you to do for the next video is try to download the same way a tool called Sherlock. It is also a tool from GitHub. We saw it up here. If I go one step back to this page, the first tool that we saw was, I believe, called Sherlock. Try to download this tool. It is a tool that is used to discover different accounts on different platforms based on the usernames that you specify. Try it out and we will see how to download it and run it in the next video. Have you managed to download the Sherlock tool? If you did, congrats. If not, let's see how we can get it and what we can do with it. So if you haven't already, open up your Firefox and type Sherlock GitHub. The first link should be the original link of the tool that should lead you to this GitHub page. Once you're on the Sherlock page, you should see all of the files that belong to this tool. Down here, we will see the installation, so how we can install the tool. And right here, we will also see the usage. But before we check out the usage of the tool, let us go and download Sherlock first. So we already know how we can do that. Just copy the link to this tool, open up your terminal, and type git clone, and then paste the link of the tool. Press enter, and this should automatically download the tool for us. We can see this tool is a lot larger than the Red Hawk since it took a little bit more time to download. And once it finishes downloading, we should type ls and we will see the Sherlock folder inside of our desktop directory. Let us navigate to that folder. And if I type ls in it, we should see all of these files that we saw on this page right here. Good. Let us close this. We are not going to be checking anything on this page anymore. And outside of all of these files, we want to go to this Sherlock folder. So if I go cd Sherlock and type ls right here, here is the tool. It is a Python tool, and we know that this is the tool since it is named sherlock.py. All these other Python files are simply just the additional files for this tool that is probably getting imported inside of this. So to run this, we can type the command python3 and then Sherlock. No module named tool request. So this could either mean one of two things. This tool is supposed to be ran with Python 2, or this module does not exist for Python 3. And if you get an error that some module doesn't exist, what you want to do is you want to type pip3 install and then the name of the module. So I can just copy this, copy selection, and paste it right here. Let's see whether we can download this module. And it seems that the requirement has already been satisfied, so it could be that we're missing this module for Python 2. Let's try first to run it once again, after running this command. So this command actually did something. As it says, it performed building of wheels for collected packages, and it managed to resolve our problem. So now we can run the tool. It does give us an error right here, but this is just a syntax error that tells us that some arguments are required, such as usernames. So let me just clear the screen and type python3 sherlock.py once again. And here are all of the available options that we can use with Sherlock. But the basic usage of this tool is specifying python3 sherlock.py, and then after it comes a username. What this tool will do with that username is it is going to search through a bunch of different platforms for the same username. So if you, for example, had a username that you discovered for some domain or for some company, and you wanted to discover whether that person has some other accounts with the same username, you can throw it in this tool and it will find you all of the other accounts that have that same username. What are we going to use here? Do you remember our harvester tool? It didn't work once we tried it out, but what I did a few minutes ago is I ran the command on the same domain that didn't work previously once we tried it before. I also put the source to be Twitter, so it managed to find 10 users that have Twitter, and these users are discovered from this domain. If I go and copy any one of them, and let's go with keyframes, and throw it in this tool, I should be able to discover other accounts that have this same username. So here we already got this one. And by the way, this is not really a unique username, so it might be that this account, for example, doesn't belong to the same person. But if you were to find a unique username, such as, for example, maybe this one, or even this one, and throw it inside of this tool, and you manage to discover some other accounts, those accounts will probably belong to that person. But if the username was something like media, and we put media inside of the Sherlock tool, well then most likely all of those accounts will not belong to the same person. Okay, so here is our output, and it managed to discover a bunch of other accounts that also have the same username. So let's try with another username. If I go all the way down and Control-C this, then clear the screen. And let's pick, for example, this username. Copy it. And I throw it inside of this tool once again. Let us see whether we manage to find another platform that has this same account. So it seems that most of them are giving us not found. Let's wait for final results. And here they are. So we already get the output for Wikipedia. We got our username that we discovered from the Twitter profile. If I go all the way up, let's see whether we manage to find something else. And it seems that all of the others have not found. And here is also a Catch Me profile with the same username, so that is another result that we managed to gather. Okay, great. So that would basically be it for this tool. Now, another thing that this tool does is it also saves our results in a file. So if I go and Control-C this, clear the screen, and type ls. Oh, never mind, it seems that it didn't save it. Maybe if we specified an option for it to save, let us run the help menu. No such file or directory. Yeah, that's because we are in a wrong folder. So let me go to the Sherlock folder and run the Python 3 sherlock.py --help. And yeah, we actually probably had to run this output command, and after the output we specify the file name, and the output of the result will be saved to this file. So it doesn't save it by default. And you can also check out other options as well, but the purpose of this and previous video was to figure out how we can download additional tools. You might never use this tool again, or you might use it every time. It depends on which type of penetration tests you perform and what kind of strategy you plan for your attacks. But it is always good to have a bunch of different tools and options that you can use. Now that we know how we can download tools from GitHub, every time a certain tool breaks, or you don't get the desired result with some tool, you can go to GitHub and try to find a similar tool that will give you better results. Okay, good. So, in the next video, I will give you a bonus tool that I created in Python 3 that will be able to gather much more emails than the already built-in tools in Kali Linux.